Hi guys! In this video we will discuss how to set up the Lint-Staged and Husky in the project, forcing the developers to push the code that is free of simple issues and coding smells to the repository. Why to use Lint-Staged and Husky? In the ideal world, everyone in the team would have the unified environment that catches errors as the code is written. In such world, every team member would address these errors promptly since they are already flagged as well. Unfortunately, the reality often falls short of this ideal. There might be obvious reasons for this. One is environment differences. Something that works for one developer may cause unexpected problems for others. Another common thing is the attitude of some people who, even when they see errors with the clear indication, here's an error, they don't feel the need to take any action. Simple laziness plays a role here too. So even when the team consistently improves code quality, regularly discusses common coding smells and try to keep the unified environments, the same problems might still occur, no matter how hard the team tries to avoid them. So instead of wasting time of repeatedly discussing the same issues over and over, it can be more effective to enforce standards before the code is pushed to the repository. And this is where the tools like Lint-Staged and Husky come to the rescue. The Lint-Staged and Husky are the tools that helps ensuring the code with errors or issues that, for example, breaks defined project standards cannot be committed to the repository. Before starting further with these tools, ensure you have the tools like, for example, ESLint, StyleLint or PHPCS set up in your project to verify the coding standards, as we will be working with Husky and Lint-Staged for this purpose. If you are unsure what they are or how to set them up, please refer to the basic guide here to start. When to use Lint-Staged and Husky? To illustrate the ideas behind those tools, let's intentionally add a few issues to our codebase. For styles, we will use the incorrect selector, that should be the lowercase a. For scripts, we will use the double quotes instead of single ones, and for the PHP, we will add the wrong spacing in the brackets. Linting tools, when set up correctly, should indicate those issues within the codebase that needs to be addressed, as is the case for us. Issues are identified correctly, turning on the red flag for the developers. Without tools like Husky and Lint-Staged, we might take shortcuts and push incorrect code to the repository. This is what we aim to avoid in this guide. We plan to use those tools when we want to ensure that simple fixes are implemented before pushing the code to the repository, which often takes just a seconds rather than rushing and dealing with the larger bugs later. What's Husky and how to use it? Husky is a tool that helps to run tasks when specific events occur in the repository, like for example pre-commit, which is triggered before the commit is done. It uses Git hooks, allowing for example to check if the code that is going to be pushed to the repository complies with the defined project standards, and blocks submission if it does not. What else you can do with Husky? If you are feeling playful, you could trigger a Slack API integration that shares memes with your colleagues with every commit. If you are aiming for something more ambitious, you can write a simple AI utility that, for example, generates commits message for you. The sky is the limit and everything is in your hands. Simply check what hooks you can use here and build your own process tailored to your specific needs. How to install Husky? Start by adding the tool with yarn add husky command, of course with the dev flag, and run the initialization process with the yarn husky init command. It will create a pre-commit file inside the .husky directory of your project, which can be used to define what should happen before making a commit. Open this file now and add the command to run when the pre-commit hook is invoked in the repository. We are going to run the linting task defined in the package.json that checks the codebase for compliance with the defined coding standard with PHPCS, ESLint and StyleLint. You can use other hooks, such as a pre-push, to run a task before pushing the code to the remote repository. To add new task to be triggered by a specific hook, use the following command or manually create the new file with the name of the hook in the .husky directory. The initialization process will also modify the prepare script in the project's package.json file to automatically refresh Git hooks whenever dependencies are installed, ensuring that they are updated in each user's environment. If you feel the tool doesn't work for you, try to run the yarn install command again and check the results. How to use Husky now? Just stage some incorrect files and try to make a commit. The tool should automatically execute the yarn lint command before the commit and prevent the commit if errors are detected. Guys, this article is a part of a larger initiative I've been recently putting my heart into. I've been working on something I'm really proud of, a new ebook all about the code linting and formatting in web development. It's filled with practical tips to help you set up the project environment so your code stays clean, consistent and free of those little annoying errors. The plan is to sell it for $15, but if you are on my newsletter, you will get almost 70% discount. Just drop your email in the link that I will add to the video description and you will get it just for the $5 when it's ready. What's Lint-Staged and how to use it? Lint-Staged is a tool that allows firing actions on staged files in the Git repository. It iterates through the files that are going to be committed and runs specified tasks based on their types. For instance, it can be used to fix formatting issues and performs syntax checks on every JavaScript file that is going to be committed, and block process when error occurs. Why should we use this tool instead of simply checks with the Husky? Depending on the complexity of your project, running a full codebase checks could take a minute. Lint-Staged runs actions only on staged files, skipping others that might be just drafts, just reducing the time verification to seconds. It checks only what's added to the Git stage, and that's the difference. How to install Lint-Staged? Start by adding the tool with the yarn add lint-staged command with the dev flag, because that's the development tool, and create a .lint-staged rc file to configure the actions you want to apply to each type of the file in the staging area. Our setup for each defined type first addresses any issues that can be automatically fixed, reducing your need for manual effort, and then reviews the outcomes to identify remaining issues that may require manual resolution. How to use Lint-Staged? Stage some files and run yarn lint-staged command in the terminal. If there are any issues, the process will terminate and show errors that should be handled before proceeding further. In our case, the command has verified all staged files and run linting checks. While it works, there's a catch. In this simple example, yarn lint-staged was fired manually, raising the usual concerns like forgetting about this step. And that's where Husky helps. How to use Husky with Lint-Staged? For the optimal reasons in your codebase, it's crucial to integrate those tools together. This way you won't forget to check the staged files for compliance with the defined coding standards, since it will be handled automatically by Husky before you make a commit. Just modify the .husky pre-commit file and switch from yarn lint to yarn lint-staged command there. This will tell Husky to run the linting process only on the staged files, rather than on the entire codebase, cutting down the time spent on the verification a lot. Add the files that contains errors to the stage and try to make a commit to see if it works. In our case, it works. Before approving the commit, the tool fixes some simple issues first and then highlights those that need manual resolution. Once those are resolved, the commit is approved and the updated code pushed to the repository. Otherwise, the tool blocks the commit, ensuring the code with the problems won't be pushed to the repository. So, how Lint-Staged and Husky improve workflow at Coditive? After integrating this tool in our workflow, we effectively eliminated simple, repeatable issues, significantly easing the team's workload, particularly during the pull requests. This allows the team to focus on more critical tasks and return the code review without spending the time addressing minor problems. That was the huge improvement. An important takeaway from our experience is that catching errors as you write minimizes the irritation of fixing issues when you are ready to commit the changes. That's why it's beneficial to integrate your project's linters directly with your code editor. Here are some guides for the most popular tools we rely on, like PHP-CS, ESLint and Stylint. Now it's the time for some tips and tricks about Husky and Lint-Staged. The first is how to skip code checks in the commit. Sometimes you might find yourself needing to push code that isn't quite right. Maybe you are in a hurry and can't afford to delay your changes. Thankfully, there is a way to do this without changing your entire setup. By using the no-verify flag during the commit, you can bypass any Git hooks preventing the code checks from the running. How to install Husky outside the root directory. First, you need to change the working directory before running the tasks defined in the commits. For this, simply modify the .husky pre-commit file and switch the directory with the cd command. Then, you need to adjust the prepare script in the package.json file which we created earlier to initialize the git hooks with the actions defined in a custom, non-root directory. Git hooks are triggered from the repository's root, so the prepare script we need to first navigate to the root and run husky, specifying the custom directory. After changes, run the yarn install script to ensure the updates are reflected in the git hooks. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your support means a lot to me and keeps me motivated to create more content. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel and giving it a thumbs up. It really helps spread the word. And if you need the developers who truly care about the quality and delivering great results, visit my company's website coditive.com or contact me with the form below. Thanks again and see you next time. Bye bye.